like it's I don't know the name of it, but it's kind of like a prosecco type vibe. So I like bubbly things, and I really love champagne. Like I love Bel Air Luxe, the
Oh,
white one.
literally, that's what's on the table.
Yes, I love all Bel Air Luxe. Like that's my favorite alcoholic drink.
I hear it. That's a good one. So I'm assuming you're a brunch girly since you like those.
I love mimosas, brunch, all of that.
Very cool. Nice. Nice. I would say personally, anything that's going to be a sweetbread. So, but if I had to pigeonhole myself anywhere, I wouldn't necessarily pigeonhole myself anywhere, but I love a good sweetbread. It's between that and honestly, a champagne because I love a good mimosa also. Preferably with some grapefruit juice or cranberry juice, but hey, that's just me. So, what about you?
I'm a white wine girly, so I like a good Sauvignon Blanc. I'm not a huge fan of Pinot Grigio, but I love a Sauvignon Blanc. I love white sangria, so they give it that fruity, fresh, sweet kind of flavor, but that's me. We typically are always split. So Alicia's always like team red and I'm like team white. So you came right in the middle with the champagne.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yes, definitely. So we'll go ahead and move into our treat of the week. So for treat of the week, we give a little nostalgia, Queen. We give a little nostalgia, right here bounce, so treat of the week is essentially, for our audience who doesn't know, is whatever luxury that you've indulged in for the week. So it's not limited to any component of life, but just something that you did or bought for yourself or something you experienced that was luxury to you. So if you don't mind sharing with us what your treat of the week was.
I feel like I may have gone a little bit overboard. Not money wise, but in terms of like treating myself. So I've been having a lot of like cravings for food, just doing a lot of traveling in February. So I need to get back on my healthy lifestyle. But yesterday I went to go get me some crab legs and then little seafood boil thing. And then I went to Ulta today to like get some new makeup since I typically do my own makeup for like, events and stuff. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not paying makeup artist, I can buy the products myself. So
it makes sense.
Exactly.
Balance, just balancing it out.
1,000%. It's easy to drop a couple hundred real quick.
Boy.
Especially if you're just like shopping in Ulta, like Whitney shops in Target, okay? Because y'all just be picking up stuff. But Ulta, I have to be like, okay, I'm going in there for some Too Faced concealer. That's it. Like, let me walk out.
I love it. I love that store. I like Sephora too. But Ulta's more convenient. Like they have Ultas everywhere, like around just up the street.
And they put them in Target now. Speaking of Target,
I cannot see. I don't need to know that. Anyway, good thing I'm not a super Target girly at all because that would just definitely get me in trouble. So, what about you outside of Target? Because that's the everyday thing.
Oh, goodness. So my treat of the week this week was actually a little bit of clothes shopping. So last week I was buying shoes. This week, though, I'm getting ready to go back home for my best friend's bachelorette kickoff weekend. So it's her bridal shower this week. And we got the bachelorette trip coming up, and then the wedding itself is coming up. So I had to buy outfits for all of the above, and I got most of it done. I still need a dress for the actual wedding, but I got some really cute pieces for the bachelorette trip, and then I got my dress for the bridal shower. So that was my luxury this week. It's been a lot of retail therapy the last couple of weeks for me.
I see, but I'm not judging.
The seasons are changing, man. Like once you
that season.
Exactly. Yes. It's the season.
Yes. Plus we love a good look. So I mean how can we go against what you're doing? Wrong? Exactly. 1,000%.
What about you?
Mine was in a bit of a different space. I'm not really a tech girly, but someone convinced me to buy, what is it? Is it a terabyte? Well, 256 gigs, but I'm going to invest in more, but basically just investing into, my tech that I have for different ventures, whether it be this podcast, whether it be other things that I'm going to start back up at the end of the year for like my brand, my faith-based brand. So just definitely investing in more tech materials and investing a lot of time for me. So, and that's something that I don't take for granted at all. So I've been putting in hours to learn more about tech and in those spaces in which I will be utilizing for my business. So that was my treat of the week because I stopped everything else. I could have treated myself to a pair of new shoes, but but I treated myself to some time dabbling in tech because, again, it's sewing into, my future. So it's my treat.
Well, speaking of our futures,
yeah,
we are not just here to talk about the Luxe Hour things. We are here to talk about you, Queen. So why don't you introduce yourself to our audience? You can just give whatever elevator pitch you want to. Like, it doesn't have to be super in depth. We'll go into career and lifestyle and all that good stuff. But if you could just let the people know who you are, a little bit about you, what it is that you do, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, hey everyone, my name is Queen Ekejija. I still need to change my last name. I've been married for like 3.5 years and still that's on my list of things to do. But for now, I still go by my maiden name, Queen Ekejija. And let's see here. I do a lot of things. Most of my time, I would say, is put towards my full-time job a little bit. I'm a management consultant at a consulting firm that's global, but I'm based here in Dallas. And at the firm, I do organizational effectiveness work. So like change management, talent management, a little bit of like project management for all different types of clients. So I've been doing that for like 5 years in the management consulting space. And then I also, I'm also a digital marketing consultant. So I got involved in that maybe like 4 years ago. And I just have a love for all things content creation, email marketing, advertising, PR, things like that. I just fell in love with. And then, so I've been doing that for my husband's business on and off for a few years. And then I also am a content creator myself. So I'll like create content for brands, for myself, for different companies that are looking to like get the word out, or small businesses that have products. So that's really fun too. And between all of those, I'm also a wife, friend, sister, and it keeps me very busy, but I love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So how do you take care of yourself? How do you show yourself luxury or self-care in the midst of wearing so many different hats?
It's really hard. Like, I feel like I have to say no more now that I just am a lot busier, because those memes where it's like, oh, trying to exercise, eat healthy, work my full-time job, get enough sleep, and the person's like passed out. Yeah, I'm like, I can't, you can't balance it all. Mm-hmm. So there's weeks where I have a heavier focus on one aspect more than the other, but there's always times where I never feel completely balanced. So sometimes I'll just be like, put my phone on do not disturb and go lay down. Or there'll be Sundays where I'm like, okay, yeah, I love y'all, but I can't do Sunday fun day today. Like, I've been neglecting my other work, and you have to have people in your life that understand that. So a lot of ruthless prioritization is my number one self-care form.
That's good.
I like that. Ruthless self-prioritization.
Ruthless.
Yeah. It's hard,
Yeah. We've talked on a few of the other episodes about just the importance of routine and getting yourself into some sort of system where you can really function, especially when you're juggling so many different things. So we love to always hear that reiterated, that like structure is key. And I love that phrase, you're like ruthlessly prioritization. Yes, I love it.
Yes, that is powerful, powerful. But I know that you talked a little bit more about your career, well, briefly at the beginning part. So kind of walk us through the management or consultant space that you work in. I know you've been in it for 5 years and you're still pretty young. So kind of walk us through what that path has looked like for you, and, any degrees that you have that are in relation to that, or were they totally different? Did you major in art, but you ended up in business consulting because you fell in love? So kind of walk us through your career path and journey.
Yeah, my career path is not, linear at all. Like, I studied public relations in undergrad, And I thought I wanted to go to law school. You know, some people think they want to go to law school,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to practice law. So once I learned more and studied for my LSAT, I was like, this is a huge time commitment and financial commitment if I don't want to practice law. So I did Teach for America after undergrad. And yeah, I feel like I'm a cat. I done lived 9 lives. Like,
Teach for America. What? Okay.
yeah, no one ever, when I tell people about all my careers, they're like, huh? Yeah, so I was a teacher for 2 years. So yeah, I taught in DISD in West Dallas. My schools were horrible. They got shut down by the state twice. And after that, and during that time, I have a master's in education as well.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
And I was like, this is fun, but it's not my trajectory. Like, I feel like I want to do something else. Like I'm a little bit more like business minded. And my boyfriend at the time, he's a software engineer. He was like, I think you would like the tech industry. So I switched over into tech. I like ended up working at Facebook in Austin in operations. And I was there. And the parts of my job that I liked the most were people related. So, you know, hiring, training, doing that type of thing. And I had a friend that worked at Deloitte, and she was like, I think you would like consulting. Like, there's different clients all the time. You're solving different business problems with like a people lens. So I interviewed, and then I worked at Deloitte for 3 years in DC, maybe 3.5 years. And then I needed a new firm. I didn't, you know, Big Four consulting is very like,
Yeah.
they put their career first.
Yeah.
And that's not the life I wanted to live. Some people like that, you know, they want to be a partner. But for me, it was like, that's probably going to be 1/4 of my personality. So I needed something different. So the firm I'm at now, still a really large firm. It's called Slalom. But I have a lot more work-life balance. I don't have to travel for clients. So that helped me with my like self-care journey, because I wasn't getting on a plane and living out of a hotel. And yeah, so my degrees don't relate to being a consultant at all. I think that like once you get your foot in the door, that's the hardest part, you know, like once a firm takes a chance on you, even if you're older, because I thought I was so old starting like I started consulting when I was like 26, 25 or 26. And I was starting off in consulting. It's like, you know, analyst, consultant, senior, like it's very linear. Like if you don't have any experience in consulting, you're not going to come in. You're not going to be able to finesse. So I was like, dang, most of these people at my level are like 21. Oh well, you know, like this is, I'm kind of thinking long term, but also like I don't have a choice. So at the end, now looking back, I'm like, you might as well start now. So that's what I tell all my friends like looking to change their career. I'm like, when 10 years from now, it's not gonna matter that you were 3 years older, 7 years older than everybody. Like if you got it, you got it.
1,000%. And so I'm sure that being in that consulting space and that management space and doing some of those tasks that you kind of outlined to us kind of, you know, pushed you into the digital creation space. But how did that happen? Kind of walk us through that, because now it's like from when we originally met through Rosemary, I've like seen your journey with like digital creation, and you know, I'm a fan, you know, so I'm a fan. Yeah, it's really good content, but how did you grow in that space?
I've kind of been creating content in some form for I feel like 6 or 7 years, or maybe longer. Like, you know, in middle school, when they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was either attorney or I wanted to do like a broadcast analyst type of thing. So I was like the kid that did announcements and that type of creative thing. But what I feel like helped me elevate would be studying a lot. During the pandemic is when I took my first like business coach, program type thing. And that's when I learned like how to run ads. And I did that for my husband's business because he needed somebody to do it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting to me. So that's when I first like immersed myself in the space. And I just like practice a lot, like practice, study, buy courses, attend some, I like really, really, really wanted to get better and to learn more. And I feel like, coming from an education background, and it made me want to, like, I learn by teaching other people. So by, coaching my clients, I had to do research. So that helped me and it helped them. So I think just like lots and lots of practice, really analyzing people who I felt like were successful and seeing the traits that they had, and being realistic. Like, man, I really look up to this woman. Like, what is she doing? Like, oh, she's been doing this a long time. You go to her page, she has like 4,000 posts. Like, she didn't magically get here, or she takes the quality of her stuff very seriously, or this woman only creates things that are interesting that, that other people are going to say, okay, that's good, like, and really soaking that in and saying, okay, I want to grow, like I always tell my husband, like, I want to elevate, like I need to grow. So I take that very seriously, and I feel like, it helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so what would be that end goal?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what do you want? How do you want to bring those two together? Do you want to eventually retire from one or the other? Do you want to continue doing both? Like, what are you thinking is the end goal?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that a little bit, but I also feel like I'm far away from the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my weaknesses or growth opportunities. I feel like I'm a very like in the moment type of person versus, okay, like 10 years from now, unless it's something that I'm dead set on, I don't really do a good job of like long-term goal setting. But I like my corporate job and I feel like I have a lot of flexibility, but that's for right now. Like, maybe when I'm older, I have children and I can't do it all, then I'll have to pick one. But for now, I like doing both. And I want to find a way to get rid of other things that I don't necessarily enjoy as much. So like, what do I not like?
That's that ruthless prioritization.
Yeah. I'm like, like certain, whether it's a chore or, shopping, like there's certain things that I'm picking up where I'm like, okay, it's helping me be able to do both. Like I just signed up for grocery delivery. So it's like, there's certain things that you pick up so that you can manage your time. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now, like getting rid of the things I don't like.
That's so good. And that's a perfect transition into our next segment. So as we talk about lifestyle and things of that nature, can you tell us, what does a typical day in your life look like? What types of routines do you have in place, or systems do you follow, if any? Like, what does just a typical day in your life look like?
Yeah, so I don't have a strict routine, but there's certain things I do every week. Like I eat the same thing for breakfast every single day. I eat oatmeal and fruit. Like I probably had that for breakfast for the last 4 years.
Now, do you do like the overnight oats? Because I feel like I always see these overnight oats on social media where people are like making these fancy, like,
especially like Central Market. Yeah. I know they have, that one's really popular.
Is it I've seen people do that, but I like just like protein oatmeal. So they have like the different brand protein oatmeal, and I'll do that. So that's part of my routine. I go to the gym every other day. that's part of like my lifestyle, no matter what's going on. If I'll look at my schedule and I'm like, okay, I can't do laundry on Saturday morning because I'm going to the gym on Saturday morning, so I need to do it Friday morning. I'll just adjust my life for that. My social media posting schedule is very set. Like 90% of the time I'll like post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's a part of my lifestyle. I don't do anything on my phone. Like I put my phone on do not disturb every day at 10 p.m. So yeah.
Because you work on your phone so much, right? When I think like content creation, I always hear that's the world that just never stops. And so that's very interesting that you do that. That sounds like a good, like, just
And I typically don't have the Instagram app. So like how you were calling me, like if it's not like the hour before I'm posting or the hour before or the hour after, I typically don't have the app because it's just very distracting. You might scroll or just spend more time than you should. So I typically only have the app on my phone a few hours a day, but of course if I'm on my computer, responding to comments, I'll do it on desktop because it makes it feel more like work because you're on a computer at your desk. So that helps. That helps too.
So it's interesting to me that you work in the content creation space, but you yourself limit your time on social media so that you can focus on other things. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of just like finding balance in such a social oriented world? Because I've heard that on so many different occasions, right? I've even heard like the CEO of Twitter doesn't even let his kids have smartphones and, things of that nature. So I'm just interested to hear from your perspective what causes you to say, I need to put a barrier here or at least some sort of boundary between how much time I spend on social media?
Yeah. I feel like it can be really dangerous if you overuse it. Like, comparing yourself, that's a huge thing. I feel like at every level, even someone with like 1 million views and 1 million followers is probably comparing something. So, it helps limit that. And I also feel like when you label yourself as a creator or an influencer, you have to spend more time creating than consuming. And I think a lot of people forget that, or it's easy to slip through the cracks because like it's kind of like if you work at McDonald's or if you work at a restaurant and you spend all your time eating the food, you're just like, you're going to get overweight. You're going to get tired of it. You're not going to be able to like separate yourself from it. You're supposed to be the chef. Like you're supposed to put the fine touches on it and things like that. So I feel like, there's people that are on social media because they may be a doctor. They don't want to be a content creator. They're there to like be entertained or fashion. But then if you work in it, it's kind of like, yeah, you should know about the trends and you should interact with your community and keep up with your friends. But, you don't want to go overboard.
Yeah. Yeah. What I hear you saying is that it's important to prioritize like your mental health. And then also on another note, like your health overall, right? Just like your health as a person. So I'm interested to know just like, how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle in whatever way that means to you? Like, I know you said you do the protein oats. I know you said when you're not traveling, you like to go to the gym. Like what types of things do you do to maintain a healthy lifestyle so that you can continue putting out that good content into the world?
Yeah, I try to, I do my fitness thing. And I feel like because when you start exercising, you kind of also tend to eat a little bit better because it makes your workouts more difficult if you don't. So that every other thing helps me typically eat a little bit healthier. And then, staying hydrated. It helps that I like work from home. So yeah, I keep water near me. And then my supplements, I feel like I don't take a lot of supplements, like compared to some of the women I see, but I take my like daily vitamins, and I take magnesium to help like my muscles recover and stuff like that. So I feel like general health thing. And I also don't drink a lot of alcohol. Like I feel like when you think about all the research on how bad alcohol is for you, like it's one of the top carcinogens. And I feel like, people talk a lot about pollution and all these things, but there's so many studies that tie, alcohol to literally poisoning your body. So I try not to drink, definitely not more than once a week. I don't drink.
Yeah, and we can tell because your skin is glowing. Like
Yes,
your skin is a lick of alcohol consumption,
right?
a little H2O.
I love it. No, definitely. You can always tell the effects of like a healthy lifestyle. Someone who consumes a lot of water, a lot of water. It always shows right here.
Yes, I love it. So before we get into the next and probably the most exciting portion, what would you say is your biggest lifestyle luxury? Now, this can be anything from, like you said, your meal subscription service to a cleaning service. It can be, that's fine, massages. What would you say is like your biggest lifestyle luxury? Gym memberships, anything that goes towards maintaining your lifestyle.
Kind of too. I used to have the like Massage Envy membership. So that was really cool during the time. Maybe I can find another spot that does that. But like you pay the fee per month and you either get a massage, a facial, or like a professional stretch monthly. So I really like that. But honestly, right now, I feel like my car, like, that's like a monthly bill and it just makes me feel good. Like,
yeah. Okay. So I got to ask, what kind of car? Do you mind if sharing like what kind of car you drive? I'm assuming it's like a dream car.
Not yet, but I mean, it's a really nice car. I got a Mercedes E300 for my birthday.
Okay.
And it feels like this is my first luxury car, and I'm like, this is worth it. Like, heated seats, cooling seats, like just, like the craftsmanship, like I'm like, oh, okay, when someone gets them some money and they're trying to figure out what to do, like a luxury car is a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling. I can see that. And I think it just really plays into like how you present yourself in the world. Like people see it's just like they say the way you communicate is the first thing that people judge you by, right after the way you look. But I think your car, like when you pull up, that's like the very first, like,
it's literally how you show up in the world. It's how you arrive to any occasion. I love that. Speaking of occasions, speaking of showing up in the world and arriving to a new chapter. Okay, great. So we have about a good 10 minutes here, but we want to talk a little bit about your relationship status, your love life. So I know that you are married, so obviously, but talk to us a little bit about, how you guys keep that fire, because I know you've been together for how long?
Yeah, and maybe
a long time.
Maybe even tell us like how you met. We love a good love story. So if you don't mind, like sharing, like how did y'all meet? How did it come to be? Were y'all friends first? Did somebody shoot their shot? Like how did that come to happen?
We didn't even get to be friends. We were probably friends for like 3 weeks. And then he was like, I need you to be my girlfriend or we can't talk, like, there's no, and I was like, dang, I'm in college. We met in college. I was like a sophomore and it was his 5th year, probably, child. Yeah, it was 5th year. So we met in college and we dated there. We broke up for maybe like 4 or 5 years. But we were friends during that break.
No, just said interesting. Tell us more.
I know, yeah. We broke up because he went to grad school in Arizona, and I was in college. I still had 2 more years of college left. So I wasn't about to be tied down in college with some guy, it wasn't that deep for me. I was like, I'm trying to be out. So yeah, and then we reconnected when I was like an adult, when I was a teacher, and we were still long distance, but yeah, I moved to Austin, to the city he lived in, and then he proposed, and we moved to DC together. And since then, we've been married like 3.5 years. And we were engaged for almost 2 years, probably, maybe like 1.5 years.
Yeah. Well, he already knew he wanted to marry you when he met you. That's why you only had them 3 weeks.
Yeah, so extreme.
That's funny, but it's cute. I love the intentionality behind it. Okay, he knew what he wanted. But speaking of knowing what you wanted, what was it in him that you recognized and said, you know what, this is the man that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with?
Just so intentional, like just very like, okay, I want you to be my wife type of energy. And I feel like I look up to him so much, and I feel like I knew if I didn't even know I was going to get married, really. It wasn't like a dream of mine, but I was like, if I get married, I want it to be someone that I like admire. I admire their character, their work ethic, the way they treat their family and friends. And in every component, I'm always like, you're a good person. I'm like, even now, I'm like, you're so giving, like you would give somebody the shirt off of your back. And there's just characteristics that he has that I don't have, and that I have that he doesn't have. So I feel like we balance each other out that way, but we're also like very similar. So I think that's why, we were able to make it work. Like we're basically like best friends. And I think that's really important, because you spend so much time with the person you marry. So you got to be friends.
Yeah, you spend the rest of your life.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your love story and just some more details about that relationship with us. And I think there are so many gems in there as you were telling your story that everyone else will be able to kind of pick up on and, apply to their own lives. So that's exciting. But we wanted to make sure we got to the tea.
Yes, the final section. So the final section of our show, as we prepare to close out, is literally called The Tea is Hot. So it's really cool. You're going to choose 2 numbers between 1 through 5. Each number corresponds to a question. So I'll ask you for a number, and then I'll tell you what the question is. You answer it, and then you'll do the same thing, and Alicia will ask you for a number. It's 1 through 5. So what number do you want to choose first?
1.
1. Okay. So what was your biggest luxury purchase? I'm thinking it might be the car, but I don't want to assume.
Yeah, probably the car, but that was also kind of, like a monthly type of thing, but like lump sum. I got myself a Rolex when I got promoted. Yeah, I got my first luxury watch last month. I found out I got promoted at the end of December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My very first promotion. So I got myself this watch, and I mean, I don't have like a card now. I put it on my credit card, but it's still like, whoo, like
Rolexes have went up. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's the main thing. And our wedding was a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay. I believe it.
Well, those are both awesome purchases.
Good purchases. Absolutely. Good uses of money.
Okay. Last question. You already
4.
4. Perfect. Have you ever gone on a vacation?
Yeah. Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, oh, okay. Like before getting married?
No, it can be getting married. Yeah. So what was your favorite vacation as you've been married? Why don't you tell us about your favorite
one? Our favorite vacation was when we went to Dubai for his mom's 60th birthday, but it wasn't just us 2, so I don't know if you could count that. So we always like going to Miami. Like, I just love that city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
one of those two.
okay. I love it. You know what I mean?
It's got some range. Dubai and Miami. That's some range.
But they'll get you there.
Vacation. They're similar but different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very much so. Like one
Similar,
is in the desert
but
and one is
also
on the beach.
polar opposites, but similar.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Queen, for taking the time out to speak with us. It was such a pleasure chatting with you, and so many gems were dropped. And so thank you for sharing that. You didn't have to be as vulnerable, but you were. So we appreciate you.
We do. Do you have any last words or thoughts to leave our Luxe ladies with?
I really like this podcast. Like, I'm just so proud of y'all, and I feel like I forget how many women are looking to like grow, like in all stages of their lives. So I always feel like I'm not where I want to be, but there's moments like this that remind me that like, okay, there's someone in a space where hearing this podcast is gonna like add value to them. So I like that you guys are doing this and reaching out to women at all different stages, because there's always value that can be shared when you're like telling stories and having conversations like this. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Oh my God, don't try to get us tear up. Okay,
we will cry.
But we know that we are virtual. We haven't forgotten about you. There is a gift with your name on it. Well, 2 gifts technically.
Oh yes, 2 gifts
from the Luxe Hour podcast. So we'll definitely find a way to get those items to you. I think I'm a little bit closer to downtown. So,
yeah.
But we'll figure it out. I'll get with you and we'll coordinate getting that gift, because we always make sure our Luxe ladies have a nice little gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Queen. We hope you have a good rest of your night. We normally toast out, but since we don't have wine, we'll just blow kisses. And we'll wish you a great rest of your week. And thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you. Congratulations on a nice episode.
Thank you. And congratulations on your promotion.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.